a chance to compete for a starting job. And in your 5th season, what does a preseason going 16 of 27 for 127 yards and an interception get you? A starting job. But wait, there's more. What does throwing your fan base under the bus get you on Saturday? An apology tour on Monday.
Human nature, just myself being very emotional, putting a lot of time these last 2 years to, get back and, spend time in this facility, in the city, meeting a lot of different people in the community. I thought I was going to get, a little different response, but, I think, my emotions got the best of me, and, my comments wasn't intending to go at any of the fans around in the city.
Booger, did Deshaun Watson's apology help the situation?
I think apologies always help. Like, we live in America. This is a forgiving country. I think he was a little tone deaf with his original comments, but there's no place and there's nothing like a great apology where some people are going to accept it. Some people are going to be like, okay, you really don't mean it. I understand, though, Deshaun Watson's feelings. Like, if all of us were on that stage and we got booed, we would feel a certain type of way. You're only human. Nobody wants to be booed. We all like to be cheered. But I do think the responsibility of Watson accepting that responsibility of, hey, you know what? Maybe I was a little tone deaf. Maybe some of the things that I said, I shouldn't have said. But the fact that, A, they cheered when I tore my Achilles. B, when I didn't play well, they booed me again my first time back in the home stadium. So I can understand him being in his feelings. I also can understand him going on the apology tour, realizing that he's now the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. How long that's going to last, we don't know. But I do think Deshaun Watson feels a certain way. The fact that, I don't know if he's been vindicated, but the fact that he is now the starting quarterback and the ball is in his court. He has an opportunity now to control the narrative, because if he plays well, those boos will turn to cheers, because the great people in Cleveland, they want a winner. They want to win. They want the dog pound back. They haven't had that in a long time. And they thought they were getting that 4 years ago when they got Deshaun Watson, and they haven't gotten that. So I like the apology. I hated the comments early. But again, we live in a country where everybody loves a great apology, and we move on to the next day.
What? No. Bug, what apology in social media era fixes anything? Because he said what he meant, and he meant what he said. I think you got the real visceral reaction from Deshaun Watson. Now he's trying to backtrack that a little bit. But here's the thing. Winning ain't going to fix this either, because these Browns fans don't forget that you've played 19 games under a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. He starts winning a few games, they're going to be mad as hell, because they're like, well, he's not back next year. We could have had this for 3 or 4 years. And I think the one thing we forget that, because I agree, if you're a player and you're getting booed because you get injured, like, I'd be fired up as well. That wouldn't sit right with me. But the lack of awareness to understand that it has so much more to do with that. You signed a $230 million contract, and then you missed the first 11 games of that season because you were suspended because you were under civil lawsuits for sexual misconduct, and you had to settle with 23 of 24 accusers. So that was your first taste, or that was Cleveland fans' first taste of a $230 million contract, and then the injuries have since been the storyline. So I think even if he wins, they're going to be mad because, as I've said, starting Deshaun Watson does nothing for the Browns' future. He's not going to be there next year, shy of winning a Super Bowl, and I don't even know if they bring him back after that. You got to find out who your future is, what your quarterback's going to look like moving forward, whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Dylan, whether it's Taylor Green, or whether it's one of 2 draft picks in the first round that you have next year. And Deshaun Watson does nothing for that, so I don't think this fixes anything, the apology, nor does winning a few games if you're Deshaun, because Browns fans want to see the future, and it's not Deshaun.
I disagree with Jordan in the sense of an apology. To Booger's point, when you say something foul, you have to apologize just to be able to move on. And had he not come out and apologized, and he goes out there and he's starting his game, we'd all be in upheaval of saying, at least come back and acknowledge that you were wrong and apologize. Now, Jordan, to your point, on the other side of it, you understand the feelings after a game of being booed and being pissed off and your feelings being hurt, to be honest with you. But for Deshaun, you have to have more self-awareness in that moment. I might be pissed off that I got booed and cheered when I got hurt and all of those different things. But as long as he continues to be in the spotlight and be a professional athlete in the NFL, he has to acknowledge the things that he was involved in. You mentioned the allegations that were brought on upon him, settling with those women, everything that transpired on his way out of Houston. You will be dealing with that throughout your entire career from now on. You might be booed in every stadium that you walk into. That comes with the territory. Deal with it. Go out there and play football at a high level and look at the men and women within your organization and in your locker room that you come in contact with every day and prove to those people who you are as a person. For Deshaun Watson, that's ultimately what's going to matter. Public opinion is never going to side with him moving forward. But I do think that for him, yes, go out there and play football, because for the Cleveland Browns fans, not only did you come in with that 11-game suspension, when you got on the field, you didn't do what we paid you to do. We paid you to come in here and be a guy that was going to change our franchise, to be the quarterback we watched in Houston that went out there and won games, that was playing on primetime and playing in meaningful football games. Since he's been a Cleveland Brown, that just has not been the case. It's been woefully bad, and that's why fans are looking at him. You came with all of this baggage, and you've stunk it up on the field. We got nothing out of this deal.
Is it on the table, Jason, that cheering for him in Cleveland is there? Could it happen? The first two games on the road, both in the state of Florida, Jacksonville and Tampa. If they play well, they even split those, or they win those somehow, some way. Could there be a world where he comes back to Cleveland and they root for him?
Absolutely. I played in Cleveland. The fans want winning football. They want to go and pay for a ticket and see a product on the field that looks good. So, yes, I do think if he goes out there and he performs well, there are going to be fans in Cleveland that cheer for him, because they're going to look at him and say, we want a quarterback that can come here and do what we're asking him to do. I think the other side of it, though, is if he doesn't perform well, there's going to be loud cheers for Shedeur Sanders to be inserted in the lineup, because they love him in Cleveland, and he is a young guy that you're still curious to see what his upside is.
And let me say this. I think the Cleveland Browns made the right decision, because I think it's easier to start with Deshaun, allow him to open those two games on the road, and whatever the outcome of it is, when you come home, if he's played well, then you roll with him. If he hasn't, then you can make the move to Shedeur Sanders. To J-Mac's point, I do think we're going to get in a situation where you're going to see every quarterback on the Cleveland Browns roster. You're going to see them all. You're going to see every one of them, because the Cleveland Browns, even though Todd Monken is a first-year coach, he's trying to win some games. I think the overall organization is looking toward 2027 and that monumental draft that we're having. So I think they made the right decision, and now it's up to Watson. I think this is the only thing you can want as a player, guys. You want to be able to control the narrative. It would be one thing if they named Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback and Deshaun Watson's lasting memory in Cleveland was at a podium where he said that the fans took it personal. The fact that he gets to control the narrative, when it's all said and done, this is the last year of that deal. At the end of this $230 million, he can look himself in the mirror and say he had a chance to control the narrative by playing on the field. And I think as a player, that's all we want. He's got that opportunity now.
I had no problem if Todd Monken would have come out and said, Deshaun gives us the best chance to win right now, and that's what we're trying to do. Okay, can't fault you there. But you come out and say, well, first couple games on the road, veteran quarterback. Shedeur's played more football as of late than Deshaun has. So I don't buy that as well. And I think this is a mistake, because you have to get ready for the future. And if you play Deshaun and he plays okay or just not bad enough to get benched, you still learn nothing about the young guys on your roster, and you're in the same exact spot next year.
All right, more on that, obviously, as this story is not going away anytime soon.